Some people are not afraid of your anger. They are afraid of your awareness. Because once you start seeing the pattern behind their words, their silence, their excuses, and their sudden kindness, they can no longer control the version of reality they built around you. This is why learning how to read people matters. Not because you want to judge everyone, not because you want to become paranoid, and not because you want to control other people, but because emotional manipulation usually does not arrive looking dangerous. It arrives as concern, as disappointment, as silence, as guilt, as a beautiful apology with no real change behind it. Most people listen to what someone says, but if you understand human behavior, you start watching what they repeat. You notice when their words sound kind, but their actions keep crossing your boundaries. You notice when their apologies sound soft, but the pattern stays alive. You notice when their silence is not peace, but punishment. And once you see that pattern, you cannot unsee it. So in this video, you are going to learn 7 human behavior signs that reveal emotional manipulation. We will count down from sign 7 to sign 1. And sign 1 is the most dangerous, because it is the moment you stop explaining yourself to someone who never wanted to understand you in the first place. You walk into a room, and you know something is wrong before anyone says a word. No one explains it. No one admits it. But you can feel the tension sitting in the air. You notice the stiff shoulders, the forced smile, the eyes that avoid each other, the voice that sounds too normal, because someone is trying too hard to hide what just happened. Most people only listen to the conversation, but when you know how to read people, you listen to what the room is trying to hide. This is not magic. It is pattern recognition. Maybe you learned it because you had to. Maybe you grew up around people whose moods changed quickly. Maybe you learned to read silence, because silence used to mean danger. So now, you notice the small things. The pause before an answer. The way someone looks away. The change in tone. The energy shift nobody wants to name. And that is where emotional manipulation becomes easier to see. Because manipulators often depend on one thing: your willingness to ignore what your body already noticed. The next sign is even more important. You stop trusting beautiful words when the behavior keeps telling a different story. Someone says they respect you, but they keep crossing your boundaries. Someone says they care, but they only appear when they need something from you. Someone says, "I don't want conflict," but uses silence to make you chase them. Someone says, "I'm just being honest," but their honesty always leaves you feeling smaller. This is where you stop asking, "What did they mean by that?" And you start asking, "How many times have they done this before?" Because one time can be a mistake. 2 times can be a habit. But repeated behavior is data. A manipulator survives by making you focus on the good sentence instead of the repeated pattern. They give you one soft apology and hope you forget 10 hard moments. They act kind for one day and hope you erase the damage they keep repeating. But once you understand human behavior, you stop being seduced by words. You watch the pattern, because a beautiful sentence means nothing when the behavior keeps crossing the same line. Some of the most dangerous people do not sound dangerous. They sound caring. They sound reasonable. They sound calm. And that is why they are hard to read. Because manipulation rarely announces itself as control. It hides inside tone, inside timing, inside the pressure behind the words. Someone says, "I'm just worried about you." But what they really mean is, "I want you to doubt yourself." Someone says, "You've changed." But what they really mean is, "You are becoming harder to control." Someone says, "I just want to help." But what they really mean is, "I want access to your decisions." This is why you stop listening only to words. You start listening for pressure, for guilt, for hidden ownership. Because manipulative people often wrap control in concern. And once you hear the intention behind the message, their words lose power. Some people do not want your answer. They want your reaction. They say something small, then watch your face. They make a cold comment, then act surprised when you feel hurt. They give you a half insult, then call it a joke. This is the reaction trap. The goal is not conversation. The goal is access. Access to your anger. Access to your fear. Access to the part of you that still needs to defend yourself. A manipulator studies what makes you move. If guilt makes you explain, they will use guilt. If silence makes you panic, they will go silent. If criticism makes you chase approval, they will criticize you just enough. This is why emotional control is not about acting cold. It is about becoming harder to move. You do not have to respond to every hook. You do not have to defend yourself against every small attack. Because the moment they can predict your reaction, they can design the trap around it. But when you pause and let the bait sit there, the trap loses power, and the person who wanted your reaction starts revealing their intention. That is when you stop being easy to play and start becoming difficult to control. Some people do not fear being forgiven. They depend on it. They hurt you, then wait for time to soften what happened. They disappear for days, then return with warmth. They cross a line, then act kind long enough for you to question your own memory. And this is where many people lose themselves. Not because they are stupid, but because they keep judging someone by the last moment instead of the repeated pattern. A soft apology can make you forget a hard truth. A good day can make you doubt 10 bad ones. A kind message can make you wonder if you are too sensitive. But human behavior is not revealed by one emotional moment. It is revealed by repetition. One mistake can happen. 2 mistakes can reveal weakness. But the same behavior, again and again, is not confusion. It is character. That is why you must remember the pattern, not the apology, not the promise, not the version of them that appears only when they are afraid of losing access to you. The pattern. Because manipulation survives when you keep treating repeated behavior like a brand new accident. And this leads to sign 2. You stop trusting too fast. You observe first. Because a person can speak beautifully when they want access, they can apologize beautifully when they fear losing control. They can act gentle when they need you to lower your guard. But the real test is not what they say when they want something. The real test is what they repeat when there is no reward for pretending. Watch what happens after the apology. Watch what happens after the silence. Watch what happens after you stop chasing. Watch how they behave when your boundary remains in place. Because some people only respect your boundary when they think losing you will cost them something. And that is not respect. That is calculation. So do not rush to believe the performance. Let time expose what charm tries to hide. Let consistency prove what words cannot. Because people reveal more through patterns than they ever reveal through promises. And once you learn to observe before you trust, you become much harder to manipulate. The most serious sign is this. You stop explaining yourself to people who benefit from misunderstanding you. Because some people do not ask questions to understand. They ask questions to keep you defending yourself. No matter how calmly you speak, they twist the point. No matter how much context you give, they ask for more. And no matter how clear your boundary is, they turn it into an accusation. That is when you must stop. Give one clear sentence, then walk away. Do not write the long paragraph. Do not prove your character to someone committed to misreading it. Because every extra explanation gives them another doorway into your mind. And when you stop explaining, they lose access to the part of you that still begs to be understood. That is sign one. You read people clearly. When you stop judging their words and start watching the game they keep pulling you into. So how do you take your power back? Not by becoming colder, not by becoming cruel, and not by trying to control other people. You take your power back by controlling the doorway into you. When someone says something that pulls anger, guilt, or panic out of you, do not answer immediately. Pause. Ask yourself, are they trying to understand me? Or are they trying to pull me into emotion? Because if they want to understand you, one clear sentence is enough. But if they want to manipulate you, 100 sentences will still not be enough. Trust the pattern, not the moment. Do not let one kind day erase a cycle of damage. Do not let one beautiful apology hide repeated behavior. And do not let one soft message make you forget what they keep doing. People are not revealed by who they become when they are afraid of losing you. They are revealed by how they treat you, when they think you will never leave. That is the pattern, and the pattern tells the truth. Not everyone needs to be cut off immediately, but many people need less access to you, less access to your emotions, less access to your explanations, less access to your reactions, because some people do not need more chances. They need fewer doors into your mind. When they know less, they control less. When they can no longer reach your guilt, they lose the hook. That is the real lesson. Reading people is not about judging everyone. It is about recognizing the pattern before it owns you. It is about knowing when someone wants truth and when someone only wants access. Because the more clearly you see people, the less power they have to confuse you. And once you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop giving access to people who only came to control it, you do not become cold. You become free. Now be honest. Which step do you need most right now? Slow down before reacting? Trust the pattern? Or reduce access? Comment one word below. React, pattern, or access. And remember this, the person who knows your emotional pattern can control your reaction. But the moment you change the pattern, you take your power back.